Welcome into Monday Night Football. Oh, wait, it's not Monday Night Football yet. It's coming, and I promise. Welcome to RGR on Monday night. It is football Q&A. We're going to give you the rundown of your Kansas City Chiefs as they're off today. Just about to start the first week of preparation for game number 1. Thanks for being with us. Make sure you like and sub and hit the bell. If you don't know us already, hey, this is Dan Harms. He's in charge of this place. I just show up from time to time. Not doing film tonight. We're just going to have a conversation about our team. We're going to have some fun. If you want to get in Rogue Nation, you can get one of these here lids or one of the ones that Dan's wearing because they're the same one.
Same one.
You can get those in the store. We appreciate you. We have a good time. This show is about you. It's all your questions. Every super chat gets an answer tonight, guaranteed, and all of your topics are going to get covered. We have a bunch already, thanks to Micah and the crew. So welcome in. With no further ado, I just want to touch on the fact that all this stuff, even going up to yesterday, which should have been just a cakewalk through kind of practice, is emphasizing we have to be more aggressive. Patrick Mahomes has to light the fires of everyone. And I see it. I feel it. I know you don't see it the same way I do, but I feel like this is putting the league on notice. We are going to go after you again. We're not going to play as passively as we have the last 2 seasons.
You know, it's funny because last year was the same. Obviously, the injury bug bit them, but lo and behold, Hollywood Brown already down with an injury. There is speculation that Rice misses more games than we anticipate. They could be in the exact same boat they were last year. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to put the cold water on it. I will believe it when I see it, because at the same time, teams don't want them to do it. We have seen the idealistic version of what defenses will want to do, and it hasn't done that. And when they've had opportunities to take the ball down the field, Patrick's not been accurate, and guys are in the wrong spot. So I know we've gotten some kind of hate saying that we're not giving Patrick Mahomes enough blame. Trust me, I give him enough blame. I give him more than enough blame for some of the issues throwing the football down the field. He's just been erratic and unpredictable at times, which is not something he was early in his career. So the comfort level has to get there, and that comes with the offensive line. It comes with the weapons getting on the field. But if you can't play with a full array of weapons, I'm not there.
Yeah. It's less arrows in the quiver, right? I totally feel you. I think there's another part of it, but before I forget, just want to shout out because I'm enjoying some tonight. Thanks for my brother shipment.
There we go.
Our friends down at BKS. If you're down around 63rd, go check them out. They make some great beer, and my brother sent me some. So cheers to bro. Appreciate you, buddy. I love those care packages. So that said, the other factor on it is I feel like there's more confidence in what the offensive line is becoming. Roundabout, a guy that probably should have started on this roster last year if you had more, is now looks like relegated to your swing tackle, swing lineman, sixth lineman role. That overall is a comeuppance for the whole line, in my opinion, is that it's enough competition that a guy that should have been out there every play is now not going to play that much.
And it's a great situation to be in. And I'm going to ask people again, please stop asking if they should trade him or Jawan Taylor if possible. You can't be giving away players that can play for you. And obviously, we found out that Jawan Taylor played with far more injury in his knee than anybody let anybody know. So if you want to yell at me or yell at somebody for, well, you saying he played like crap, nobody knew until this past week that he was dealing with that stuff. We don't have information unless it's given to us, guys. Just like you. You didn't know either. So no one knew.
Like, I'm waiting for the league to be like, hey, you never reported an injury to his knee. We're going to fine you, Andy Reid.
He should be fined. Literally, He should be. It's illegal what he did. But they were
by the letter of the law.
It's an awful tackle situation that he had to play. They did not have a choice.
And it wasn't insignificant. It was a repair, and he went to Panama of all places for stem cell treatment. It was not a little deal at all. So that's where we're at on that. Yes. How about them, Chiefs? Nice to see you, and thanks for being with us. 50 months, 4 years plus of not only being one of our members, but one of our core people around here in the Discord, around town. If I have a tech question I can't answer, guess who I go to? Appreciate you, buddy, and for being one of our mods, as usual. You can't get away from it. It's too dang good.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into all of this, and for you being here for 4 full years is incredible. We're trying to live up to it, and we're ready to give you another season like we have in the past. So, for those of you who don't know him, say hi, congratulate him, pat him on the back, and get your questions in because here we go. What surprises could happen in Chiefs starting lineup for the regular season game number 1? What do you see coming?
I mean, Tyquan Thornton starting on the outside, literally. I mean, he probably could be. That could be a legitimate surprise. It's not a great surprise, but it absolutely could happen. And outside of that, I don't know if I'm really in the headspace for real surprises. Um, just I don't think there's anything else that they could do right now that would legitimately shock me or surprise me. That's the only one. So if you're looking at the team out there and Tyquan Thornton's playing real snaps for the Chiefs in week 1, well, we know why. It's because Hollywood Brown still isn't healthy, and it's because Rashee Rice is hurt. And the only other guy that can run down the field and stress the defense deep, not named Xavier Worthy, is Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, and that is a skill that you got to have. It's an aspect of the game that you have to have. So hey, if there's anything crazy, that could be it. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate you bringing it up. Micah, nice to see you. With no Rice, what are the realistic predictions for the Eagles game? And we're assuming that there's no Rice. That is week 2, so it's a safe assumption. I don't think it's going to have to be a lot. I feel like the Eagles are going to continue to kind of double down. They've lost some of their defensive front, but they're pretty deep on the defensive front. They're going to let their defense and Saquon, I think, kind of handle it. I don't know that they're going to be pushing the ball super deep, but I think the Chiefs, just like the last time they met, have to go at them, have to attack them. And if the O-line can hold up with these new additions, it might be a very different outcome.
I'm not sure it'll be a different outcome, but I do think that defensively they're going to do the same thing. They're going to say it's regular season, Jalen. It's week 2. Put it on your back and go win the game because that's what he had to do last time. He had to make perfect throws. He had to make the one-on-ones. They had to be in the right spot, right? I think they're going to do the exact same thing on defense. And I think differently in the regular season is that Jalen's not going to be up to the task in week 2. That's not his fault. That's because it's not the Super Bowl and it's just getting up to speed, right? Everyone's got to do the same thing. So the game itself might look a little bit different, maybe not as high scoring, but I still think in week 2, when you don't have Rice, if you're going to have some injuries, a rookie at left tackle, I think that the game probably ends the same, but I'm a little bit more optimistic that it's closer than it was.
Let's be optimistic. I want that to happen. That's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for. Micah, you got another one. What situation do you guys think that Reed would ever call a behind the back pass? Regular season playoffs, Super Bowl? How about never? I think Patrick might just do it. I don't think it's ever going to be called.
That's the better thing, right? It's going to be I got to throw this behind my back because it's like, or they're up by a billion points, which we know never actually happens. And he just lets the leash loose. Like, yeah, go ahead, Pat. We're up by like 4 touchdowns. Who cares?
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Like that, I have to go fix that. So I'm gonna let you take this next one yourself. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I got you. All right, guys. I know Mike has got quite a few here. This one next here is about Luis Reese Zammit. He announced his NFL retirement and left the Jags camp last Friday. Also announced he is returning to rugby. In your thoughts? You know, it's got to be really cool to be talented enough at 2 things like that to be able to just play professionally up and down, pick one and the other. Obviously, there was clear upside as an NFL player, but at the end of the day, rugby is probably his calling. But literally, the fact that he can just go back and he's probably going to be on a professional team very, very soon is unfair. It's unjust, and it really makes me mad. But I wish nothing but the best for him. Only Knives, appreciate you, man. I heard some great news about Isapole making a push for second team offensive line left tackle. I predicted he'd be good, and I predict he will be the starting right tackle next year. Do you guys think it's possible? Whew. I mean, we're talking about a legitimate, real sky type of ascension you're going to have for UDFA. Whoa, we got some things changing. Brian is changing things behind the scene. He's making things weird. um, so UDFAs, how often do they go from UDFAs to making the roster to being a starter the next season? Not very often. That's not something I would put on him right away. But he's getting reps. That's the only thing we can say right now, that he's getting reps. I think the biggest reason he's getting reps is because outside of Jalen Moore, who's going to be playing, I guess, predominantly as the backup right tackle and backup left guard, there isn't really someone they feel comfortable at left tackle. And for everything that the unofficial depth chart says about backup left tackle being Wanya Morris, Patrick Mahomes doesn't want that. He just doesn't. So they're looking for players. And I think Pole is one of the guys that has a ton of upside, like you said, who's going to have an opportunity in these preseason games to show that he can be that. So we have to remember, I did this whole thing last week with my video about what to take from training camp. Reps. Everyone gets reps with the teams, second teams, with first teams. You earn those as well from UDFAs. But preseason games, those reps, how you actually do, matter a lot more than just what happens in camp. So we'll see.
Yeah. And they progress as they go through the season. I think that's important. I just wanted to make sure that everybody saw Luis. I always want to say Luis, not Lewis.
Why is this happening? Why is this happening?
because the guy just retired, and we got to talk about it for a little bit. I wanted to get my 2 cents in real quick. That's what I had to do. It's one thing to go back to rugby. It's a whole different thing to like continue your dream. And I feel bad for him because I thought the guy had upside. And Kay made me do it, and this is what
I know she did
when you mess with the bull. So yeah, I just wanted to get it out there because sometimes that stuff happens. I will still watch him in rugby, is what I'm saying. Is I hope that Lewis does pretty well. And I totally forgot to set this up at the beginning of the show, so you had me distracted, buddy. I had to come back with it. So that one's for you, Kay. When it comes to the defense, what do you think will be the biggest improvements and regressions from last year to this year? I think the run D will take a step back, and the pass D will take a step forward. Thank you, Minotaur, and thank you for everything that you do. I hope that you're right. I'm a little more worried about the shuffling. PFF just put out an interesting stat. Safeties playing deep coverage, either split or single high. Guess who the highest rated safety in the league was last year? And we didn't give him enough credit. Justin Reed. Yep. Now, again, PFF is not the end-all be-all, especially with who's doing the grading these days. But you got to take that into account. And I do think it is more of a transition than we've given it credit for so far.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's going to be felt early because experience, football IQ from Justin Reed is off the charts, specifically from what it looks like in this defense. So I think we all expect Jaden Hicks to have a pretty big impact on that, but it's without Justin Reed. So he's going to be asked to do a little bit more, and it might not look the same early on. So we have to remember that.
Fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. Mentor's got a couple here. We're going to bop around baseball. I know. Why are the Royals so damn inconsistent this year? Because it's baseball, and it's just, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, that's who the Royals have been since they won the World Series. They've been kind of down, but they've been all over the place. Like, it's been a decade, and they've been up and down. And I don't want to hear it. The Tigers are just as bad in terms of consistency right now. Yeah, I know I'm complaining about a first-place team, but it is what it
is. Sometimes those are the luxuries, right? Steve, can you tell us, what can you tell us, I'm guessing, about Kevin Knowles? What kind of DB is he? Well, he's a guy that's got length. I think he fits the stereotype, but I have not been to camp yet. And last that I looked, just at some random film, he didn't look quite as smooth as I think they usually like. Do you have anything on him?
I have nothing on him. I don't know anything about Kevin Knowles, unfortunately, Steve. But, hopefully we can get some reps in a preseason game and we can have a little bit more information on at least what the player is right now. That's all I can look for.
I know that he's getting some reps. I'm just double checking. He's listed at 5'11" even and 190. But it's right at the range that they like. What is he? Is he 25? No, he's 22. So he doesn't even know what he is yet. Yeah. He has tendencies, but we're going to see how he develops as Merritt in particular gets his hands on him and gets him doing things that maybe he hasn't had to do before, but at this level he'll have to. So it's going to be interesting to watch. I do think he's behind the eight ball a little bit. We're going to talk about another DB that we've seen play on this field that may not be
Yeah.
with us that much longer. How do you guys feel about the virtual first down measurement stuff for this year? I feel like it's needed, but there should be a better way to do it still. That's fair.
I just don't. There's already chips in the balls. This shouldn't be hard. This should not be that difficult. It would not be that difficult to get every NFL field measured properly, have the technology underneath, and the ball being there would tell you exactly where it is. But here we are with virtual stuff. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me.
It should be, like you said, the most simple thing. That chip's only that big. Shouldn't be a margin of error, I don't think, but it is what it is. Thoughts on Flores saying today that Rice probably won't be suspended to start the season, and he's saying 6 to 10 games. Does that affect the 53-man if true? It certainly does have an effect on the 53-man, because then in order to protect against that, you're talking about going back to 7 wide receivers, which I still think is a bad idea. But don't believe a damn thing Florio says is all I'm going to tell you.
The first thing you have to remember is if a sentence starts with thoughts on Florio, probably going to be, I don't give a damn about what he says. I will give him some props in the sense that the work that he's been doing with Pablo Torre, uncovering all of this NFLPA stuff, has been good. But the vast majority of that information is coming from Pablo, not from Mike Florio, because that dude knows absolutely nothing about football, and he has a vendetta against the Kansas City Chiefs. So even if he is right, I'm not giving him any credit because I just don't have to.
That's it. I don't have to. That's all of it. That's
Exactly
what it's for. I have it troublesome, and you have a good point about Pablo, so you should point that out. The work gets done, and he kind of glosses over it. I told you when it first happened that I thought 4 to 6 was the range. I think it may come out at 8, and I think it'll be appealed. It might go down to 6 or 4. I think 10 is just crazy. And I think Florida makes stuff up half of the time. He might have heard that from one source, but there's no way to confirm that. I don't know that the NFL knows, to be honest with you. Well, welcome and thank you. I don't know if you've asked a question before, but recognize your name for the first time, so I'm going to call it out. Could you cover the number 3 receiver on the outside if McDuffie follows the number 1 receiver to the slot? I think it's possible, unless it's a physicality match. Who's the kid you like that went to Buffalo that I was like kind of lukewarm on, and I may be changing my tune?
Hairston?
No, the big kid 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Kyer Elam?
No,
that was a few years. He's in
Coleman.
Keon Coleman. Gotcha.
Yeah, like so.
You said receiver. I thought we were talking about DBs. So I was like,
oh.
Nope.
If you get CRW stuck on a Coleman with that much physicality and length in particular, that might not be something that he can recover from very easily. But for the most part, I would think that he can probably make do outside. He's got to make sure that mentally that he is aware of the boundary being his ally in that situation.
Yeah, that's the only thing right here, is that you're talking about possibly putting a smaller slot receiver or a tight end in this situation on the outside. I'm okay with him being on a tight end on the outside. I got no problems with that. But if it's a tall, kind of like I said, long player, not beefy, because that's the thing about the receivers, is they still can move better than a tight end who's a bit bigger and doesn't move as quick, and CRW has the recovery time to be able to slot his hand in there, which we've seen with tight ends in training camp as well. So if it's a bigger receiver, that's where the problem comes. But for the majority of the time, I would not have an issue with them moving him to the outside if he's following a slot receiver or a tight end for that matter.
I'm done. Makes sense to me. Swag, nice to see. Rashid could have 1,500 yards if he played every game. If he misses the first 4 games, it's going to be a big loss. Who steps up? It's got to be X.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nothing against Hollywood, and I am not one that thinks that the sky is falling because he hurt his ankle. I'm not linking the two together. A lot of folks calling him injury prone and that kind of stuff. I don't think they're related at all. I think it's just 2 bad things. I think they're being overly cautious. But you would like to see both Xavier and Hollywood step up. But I think in the end, the guy that looks to me at camp like ready to take the next step and exploit defense is Xavier Worthy.
he is going to have a huge year. Regardless, I think regardless of Rasheed with the suspension anyway, he is already talking about how the game is slowing down. That's what you needed from Xavier the first year, but you're learning so many different things, and he had to learn more because of the injuries. In back-to-back years, the Chiefs have had to do that with their receivers. So he's coming into this year. He got he got a ton of information thrown at him. Now it's all slowing down. He understands what Patrick wants. They've had an offseason to work together. It's very clear that Rasheed is the reason not only that we're targeting Rasheed in training camp because he's going to be the one eventually, but they're also trying to get him as many reps as possible. Because if he's not going to be able to be with the team at all from whenever that suspension starts. He won't be able to touch the field, be in practices or anything. So they're trying to get him as much physically prepared as he can be for that. But Xavier Worthy is there. He's already doing what you want from him. The deep crossers, some of the intermediate crossers, some slants and things like that. He's starting to do more of as well. And I'm telling you guys, Jalen Royals is already a stud. He's already going to be a fantastic complement to Xavier Worthy in the Rashee Rice role whenever he's not on the field. I think that slowly you'll see that start to creep up, but I'm going to get ahead of myself with Jalen Royals because I was a huge fan of him, but that's neither here nor there.
No, it is here and there because he's going to live up to your faith in him. Everything that I've heard is that he is ready to play that role. So, Jayhawk, thank you. By the way, it is okay for you and everyone else to hit that like button.
It is
little thumb going up. It helps us. A lot of Chiefs content out here, not just us and Cole and KCSN and Matt. Like those are just 4 highlights, right? Like there are a ton of shows on this. Every time I turn around, there's more. So enjoy it. Help weed out some of the noise. We would appreciate it. And that thumbs up would go a long way. And I will say thank you in advance. How's that? Always nice to do, even for someone that's majestic.
This is ridiculous.
How has Kingsley been in camp? I haven't heard much. Your reaction?
Oh, he's been fantastic. He's been great. He's been better than advertised, I think, at guard. And he looks comfortable. He looks confident. He looks like he's having fun. Isn't that weird? How when all of a sudden you're given the opportunity to grow in your position, you've gotten a whole off season to kind of prepare for it mentally. You're coming in with no like weighted expectations. And again, I am part to blame for all of you being excited about it because I did have high expectations of Kingsley, regardless of the developmental plan that it would take. But this switch, I think, has done wonders for him. I underestimated how the foot speed for him would impact him on the outside. I didn't see much of an issue with it in college. Competition does feed into that as well. It is hard to project those things at times. Again, didn't have a huge issue with it. I thought it was more a developmental thing, but putting him in a phone booth appears to help with that. The length is a huge plus for him. The power is starting to show on some double teams with Josh Simmons. Just from what I've seen, again, this is camp. It's not anything on the field, but we'll see what happens in some of these preseason games. But I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun, and I think his athleticism, what he does have at guard, is going to be even better than it was at tackle. Clearly, and kudos to Simmons. Simmons is even better an athlete. His footwork is even cleaner, and it's going to pay off in spades.
Yeah,
for the run game, for the screen game, for everything that you guys are worried about, it's going to pay off. Thank you, Swag. I appreciate it. Only Knives. Anybody else seen the rise of the Samoans in the NFL? We got 3 just in our own line room now. Yeah, and it's cool to see. There's a heavy emphasis on football in Polynesia across it. I'll even tell you guys a story that I don't even think I've shared this with you, Dan. Back in the day when I was a high schooler, this is when the years start with 19, folks. I played for a giant mountain of a man who taught me how to rush off the edge and play linebacker. His name is Mano Tuiasosopo, the elder Tuiasosopo. Yes, his kids went on to play. I played for their dad in high school, and there's been Polynesians in football all over the place. I was on the West Coast, so it made it a little bit easier. But there are pipelines of football. Kingsley is part of one of them because there is a direct line from Maui to Provo to get to BYU. So I think it's cool, and I like seeing it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it's great to see the game have an impact culturally around the world. It's cool. We have fans from all over the world where you guys drop in from Australia or different countries in Europe and Asia. Like it's such a cool part to see. And obviously, historically speaking, very big men come from that part of the world. So getting to see how the athleticism parts down and how you can implement it in offenses, and obviously a lot of times it is developmental, right? It's not inherent in their culture to come in and play football from all the way from pee-wee all the way through, unless they are again brought to the country and then they feed into that pipeline. So you see a lot of guys with the athleticism, the size, the power, and none of the technique. And that's why you're trying to like sell yourselves on some of it too. It takes a little bit of time. So it's been so cool to watch how, and again, it's not just from Polynesia, it's everywhere. We just talked about Luis Rezamet, like he's
Yep.
English. Like there's just it's so cool, and I really appreciate what we're getting to see with football, and that's a big reason why the NFL wants to play games, and now college football wants to start in Germany next year. Like this is
Right.
insane.
Yeah. There's a game in Ireland, right? This coming
Yeah.
weekend. And I have a friend from over there who would correct you like he used to correct me when I called him English. He's like, I am not an Englishman, I'm Welsh. So we,
Gotcha.
we got to throw that
My
back out there.
apologies.
But I will tell you this too. A lot of guys that I either played with or coached with that were Polynesian, it's funny if they didn't get exposed to the sport young, which has happened more and more as time has gone on. Guess what? Like, just in my personal experience, from the Polynesian guys that I know, guess what sport they played the most if it wasn't football?
Baseball?
Nope. Volleyball.
That makes sense.
Right?
That
Right?
makes sense. Yeah.
Athletically, it feeds in. It is funny to watch culturally how that affects what athletes become just out
Yeah.
of sheer reps. Swag, early record prediction. Okay. We're going to call this early, but Dan, how
Yeah.
optimistic are you?
12-5.
Ooh, I like it. A modicum of restraint.
It's again, I still think that there are going to be some games. I think that they lose one or two in division this year. It wouldn't shock me if they lost two in division this year. So I still think they're going to lose to the Eagles. We'll see what happens. Everything else. So I'm interested about the season this year because there are some question marks I have about defense. And again, with injuries and suspensions, we don't know what the offense is going to look like.
I got to tell you, I do have concerns about the defense as well. One in particular is Drew Tranquil. Um, it's tough to carry more than 4 or 5 linebackers on your roster, and a significant injury to one of your 3 starters is a big deal and very difficult to kind of cover. So I am a little concerned about that. I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic though, and I'm going to call it exactly how I called it last year. I think it's a continuation in a different situation. I say they go 13-4. That's the way I feel now. A week
Wouldn't be shocked.
So.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's not far fetched. Thanks, Swag. And you got another one. Mahomes energy feels different. 40 touchdowns and 5,000 yards incoming. I would love to see the 40. I think 5 is going to be hard to hit.
I think I'm just a bit underneath that. I think 35 and 45 is probably where I come in. I do think the energy feels different, but it's still a different offense. I just don't know if we're going to get back to what we saw early on in his career, and it's not necessarily his fault either. It's a little bit on how defenses are playing to force the Chiefs and offenses in the NFL to run the football and be methodical. So I'm just kind of there.
Okay, that's cool. Again, shout out to you, Frankie. Thank you, buddy. And thank you for
Appreciate you,
everything that you
FLDB.
do around here. Very much appreciated. Same with you, Minotaur. Thank you for the memberships. For those of you that are receiving
Yes,
free
that's
memberships
awesome.
tonight, you can
Thank
thank
you.
our guy, Minotaur, because he takes care of that. He does a ton of it as well. I know you got a question about Pole while I was messing around with your name earlier. I didn't hear your answer, to tell you the truth. But what I've heard is it's a consistency thing with Pole, that he does have flashes, but he's not all the way there. And especially with Tranquil's injury, as I understand, they are high on Bossa. He's on this roster. It's not a question.
Yeah, that was never a question to me either. Again, if you guys watch the draft show, you guys know he was like my 2 or 3 linebacker. I was very high on Jeffrey Bossa. So when they got him in the 5th round, I was like, okay, that's a pretty easy love that pick for him.
Slam dunk. It works. Ruthless, what have you guys thought about the pass rush this camp? I think it's a lot of smoke.
There is not a lot of fire. It's a lot of push. And honestly, Josh Simmons has done a good job of negating stuff. He's
True.
gone up against Chris Jones a couple of times, given him some tough times. Has given him some the quarterback, quote unquote, time to throw the football. Um, one I've only seen one good play out of Ashton Gelati. Like I've seen very little amounts. I'm not at camp, not at camp, but the clips that I have seen, it's either him getting stonewalled or the one inside move that he had, which is again what I said his game needs to be predicated upon. He has
Yeah.
to be able to win inside because just I don't think he has the speed or arc to bend the outside or to be able to win outside. So if you can get some inside quickness, I'm fine there. So we'll see on that. And I know everyone's worried again. I tried to get out in front of this about the depth chart. Don't pay any mind to it. Don't pay any mind to the unofficial depth chart. It means nothing, okay? So if you see Ashton Gelati slotted above FAU, if you see Sky Moore slotted above Jalen Royals, don't pay attention to these things, okay? It is some intern putting names
I was
onto a
going to
sheet
say.
and putting it out there.
I was going to tell you, whoever the least experienced intern in camp this year is the one making this list. I disagree with you because I felt better about Gelati. I felt better about him coming in, so maybe that's my own bias coming through. But I do feel from everything that I've heard that there's more to it there. And the thing that I liked about his game, I agree with you about inside counters, especially he's got a pretty quick little spin that when he brings
Yeah.
that elbow around, he can get through pretty quickly. But it's reassessing using his hands well inside when he's got a leverage advantage, but not a power advantage. And I do think he does that well. So you got to remember, we both had Josh Simmons as our number one tackle on film. So that should be a yard marker as well.
Correct.
The thing that I'm more concerned about is I haven't heard anything, honestly, about Charles. And I think if you were looking at this season, maybe you have to start Mike Dana. He is good against the run from the edge. But you got to have pass rush from Charles Omenihu. That is a must-have in order for this front to work.
He was saying all offseason he's 100%. That's what he's been saying.
Yeah.
Doesn't look it. Haven't heard Pete. Haven't heard anything. And if, no offense, Charles, Josh Simmons is coming in and shutting your ass down from day one. There was a big old problem in that defensive line room. And again, this is my big problem. And some of it is out of my control. I have no control over any of this, but Spags likes a certain level of defensive end. Okay. He doesn't like speed rushers. He hates them, actually. We saw that. They traded for one. He said, I'm going to move you to off-ball linebacker and never play you. He does not. That was a move. That was him telling Brett Veach, try it again. Try it again. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing these guys. So there is a very big disconnect between what works in the NFL, speed to power, and what Spags wants. He wants pure power. You have to have power, sure, but he kind of wants pure power. And that's part of my problem with the way that he operates defensive end wise, because it has to revolve around Chris Jones. And if Chris Jones is going to be playing outside, you know what? All that is well and good. There's got to be somebody else that can quickly win. Because if there is ever a situation where Chris Jones is off the field, guess what? I'm throwing the football and you're not getting to my quarterback. You're just not getting there.
Yeah, probably not. There's not enough quickness. And I would say Gelati is probably the one that is a little bit quicker, but he's not a speed rusher. So even that small ability inside, I don't think that's enough. But as you said, what has he always done? He's always had guys with length. He's always had Charles Omenihu types, honestly, with the extreme length, and that's what Spags relies on. So let's hope that he can do it. I just want to throw this up because Lonnie, nice to see you. I know it's not
What
a
up,
question,
Lonnie?
but wanted to get that in there before I keep screaming on by. Considering our level of individual edge rushers we face, if Simmons gives up 7 to 8 sacks in 17 games, do you consider that a success? I say yes. Meh. That's still too much for me in a first round pick, to be honest. I can live with 5.
I mean, if we want this to be like a real win, I would say 5 and under. But more than that in a season is really bad, actually. It's even for guys who have been doing it for a long time. So I think we have to also give grace where it's due. We would have to parse through we would parse through those sacks. How many are on Patrick Mahomes? How many are on the loss of the tackle, and we have to be able to figure that out.
Yeah, and that's fair. I'm going to take a quick look at one stat for Perry
Okay.
while you take this next one real quick.
Yeah, I got you, Swag. What does Josh and Lamar have a better deep ball accuracy? Why does Josh and Lamar have better deep ball accuracy? Lamar accuracy has improved tremendously. Freedom, freedom within the. The only thing that I can explain it is they have run games. Both of their offensive lines have been consistently better than Patrick Mahomes. Their run games have been demonstrably better than the Chiefs have had over the past 4 years, bar none. There's been no competition, honestly, and the Bills are willing to lean into the run. And it takes pressure off of Josh Allen. He's like, the guy's wide open because they're worried I'm going to run the ball. They're worried they're going to run the ball. I got time in the pocket, and he doesn't have to worry so much about the offensive line failing. This guy being in the right spot, he can just let it fly. And Lamar can do the same thing. So, and he's worked a lot. Both these guys have worked to get better because their mechanics were not great at throwing the ball down the field early in their career. Josh Allen was a very inconsistent deep ball thrower. He was a very inconsistent player. Reworked his entire release mechanics, the arm angle, the slot. It wasn't the over anymore. He released that to that 3/4 arm slot, and you see that velocity. It creates so much easier movement for him that he doesn't have to worry about anything like this. Right? It's all different. So I would just say, based off what they do in the run game, it frees up their quarterback to not have to worry about making this throw perfect. Because if I don't, I can't get a first down in the run game.
It's balance. You guys hear us talk about the run game, me more so just because I love it. But you got to have some balance to allow your quarterback to have those two-way options. And otherwise, you get closed in on. There's just no way around it. I want to go back to Perry for a second because I just pulled up last year's. And you tell me, Dan, of these guys, would you take Simmons or Fuaga?
I mean, Simmons would have been probably my 1 or 2 tackle in 2024 too. Like
Yeah, he
that's
was
so I would have take Simmons.
He was in my higher grade too. 6 sacks from Fuaga last year. Joe Alt, I probably would have had Alt just a slight bit behind Simmons because I prefer athleticism and Alt's a little heavy-legged. You?
I would have taken Simmons over Alt because I think he's a better left tackle than in the NFL. Alt's going to be a good right tackle.
Okay, 6 sacks given up. Amarius Mims, really inexperienced, but a great athlete, right?
Give me Simmons.
4 sacks.
Yeah, and he didn't play the
Right?
whole season because he was hurt. So
True. Rosengard, 4 sacks. Tyler Guyton, 6. Olufashanu, who I still would have probably had as number 1, just
I would have
slightly over
taken
Simmons.
Olu. I would have taken Olu.
He gave up 1 sack. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of that's Perry. So that's what we're talking about. Like, to be successful, to be where we had him graded. If it wasn't for the injury, he would have been right up there with all those guys. And we would expect 5 or less is probably the right area. So that's why we gave you that answer. I know sometimes we give answers and we don't get into the thick of it enough. So sometimes I want to dig a little
Good
bit.
job.
Beach,
Good job, Brian. Appreciate that.
Thanks, buddy. Beach, here's to you and a healthy season for all of us. Me included in my fragile psyche. Minotaur, thank you again for the
Yes, thank you.
mentions. Beach, thank you again. I think you got stuck on a roll here, pal. Two surprise players that might make the 53.
I mean, we've kind of talked about one already in Tyquan Thornton. Maybe not so much a surprise now, but I'm not gonna give it to him right yet. Jason Brownlee has a real chance to be that quote unquote 7th guy. He's doing just as much in camp right now, from what I've heard. The only thing that Thornton would have up on him is that he'd be more impactful in a special team sense. But in terms of wide receiver stuff right now, everything I'm seeing and hearing is that Brownlee is doing a really good job in camp as well. So is one of like the surprise guys I would talk about on the offensive side. Again, Pole would be another player in terms of surprise UDFA to come in and make the roster. Man, we're gonna have to see more about these DBs right now. One of these end of roster cornerback guys. Once we get to the preseason game 1 this weekend, I'll get a better idea of some of those guys, because especially if we're talking, they probably don't want Josh Williams on the roster anymore. And if Fulton doesn't come off PUP list, well, it could be worse. It could be worse.
Yeah. Somebody asked about Knowles. I think he's in the competition to be towards that back of the group. I would still bring in on CRW, but that's me. We'll see. The length does play a factor for this coaching
Yeah.
staff. So he's another guy that I would throw out there. Ruthless, thanks, buddy. Is it me or is it my test for the O-line is the New York Giants?
Okay. That's fair.
I
think
would
that's
still
fair.
say the Eagles are the more formidable front, but how do you feel?
I mean, in terms of speed, being able to judge speed a little bit better, I think the Giants for sure, and speed to power probably see how if they can get better at handling power because it wasn't necessarily. I mean, it was a combination in in the Super Bowl because Joe was playing left tackle and he can't do
Yeah.
anything. He just can't do anything about that. So there's that problem. But overall, I think that the speed that the Giants have is a very good test, specifically for landmarks on Josh Simmons. We'll have to see how that works.
Yeah, that's a good point. The landmark is a big thing. I like that. And Beach, thank you again, buddy, for
Yeah,
the support here
appreciate
tonight,
you.
as well as you, Ruthless. Chiefs fan 1587. I like your number. Will the Chiefs pick 6 or 7 receivers 53 and why? What's your gut tell you right now?
My gut still says 6. The whole it's really just the Rasheed Rice of it all. That's going to throw a wrench into the dynamic because if they have to guard against it, they have to keep 7. They have to because you can't risk a Tyquan Thornton who would not make it to your practice squad going somewhere else. Like they can't risk that. So, and regardless of how it's going right now, you have to be able to protect yourself against anything like that. So, if Rasheed Rice suspension comes down after the preseason, I think it's going to be 7.
If you're counting it that way, I can go with you. If the suspension happens prior to the season, if Florio's wrong and it is a week 1, it's almost a little bit of an out because he can go directly to suspension.
Yeah,
He does not have to
that's
make
right.
the 53. So keeping 6 on the roster is what we're
It's
talking
still
about keeping a
7.
7th. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the line is. And I will just tell you this. I know Brownlee's been making good catches from what I hear. He doesn't have the downfield speed to be an asset, not only in the coverage game, but if everybody that's concerned about Hollywood, if they're right and he really can't go and you need another stretcher, it has to be Thornton. That's the only other guy that can pull that off. So I think that plays into his hands
Yeah.
as well. My gut tells me right now that there is a suspension and it starts at the beginning and Rice goes straight to it. And there are 6 receivers on the 53.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. What happens when he comes back? That's going to be the big question for me. We'll see. What's the word so far on Hicks? How's the secondary managing with a new starter at safety? Well, Shamari Connor's not a new starter. He started before, and he seems to be getting more starting role right now than Jaden Hicks. And I gotta tell you, I've watched every piece that I can find, and even some that are not public. Some friends that have some video for me. I don't see anything wrong with what Jaden's doing. I'm not sure why it is the way it is right now, but Jaden Hicks does not seem to be getting enough snaps.
Maybe it's they already know what he is. I don't know. I can't really I
Mm,
can't give you a good
yeah,
answer to that. But the simple fact of the matter is, they might think that Jaden Hicks is already their guy, and they need to find they need to find somebody else.
could be.
Realistically, we're talking about Mike Edwards, who was a free agent last year. They've brought him in before. He's only older now, and Chamari Connor, they're still forcing into the slot. They are still forcing Chamari Connor down our throats as a nickel. Okay. This is not good. The safety room is not good right now. And if you prioritize talent at the safety position, they should have drafted one last year. They didn't. They didn't draft one. And I'm not saying they had a bad draft at all because you guys know we all think they had a really good draft.
Yeah.
But there are some priorities in building your defense. And the way the Chiefs play defense from cornerback in is funneling to their safeties. You think that letting Justin Reed walk and not addressing the safety room at all was a good idea? It wasn't. And we've been outspoken about that because we know Brian Cook can't handle single high duties, and we know Shamari Connor can't do that, and we know Jaden Hicks isn't that. But what happens in situations where guys have to be put on an island down there? They can't cover. It's a problem.
That's the problem. Is they're planning to play split safeties all year. They're not planning to play singles. And that's I think a systemic issue right now as well.
Correct.
Maybe they feel that there's enough overlap with both Connor being a nickel safety and CRW being a nickel safety. I don't think that's the case, but it's the only other thing that I can think that they might be thinking, but I would disagree. Yeah. Girk, nice to see you, and thanks for the support, pal. What if Travis just plays third down in red zone? Conceptually, I wouldn't argue, because I think that prolongs him for the postseason, which is really like the thing that I care about most. But right now, that means your two tight end cents are Noah Gray, who doesn't have the speed to stretch the field, and 39-year-old Robert Tonyan, for God's sake. That's what makes me a little bit nervous. Kudos to Tonyan. Matt's in love with his resurgence. A lot of people are fired up. I just can't trust 20 games out of a 31-year-old tight end that really hasn't done much for 3 or 4 seasons.
That's, again, part of the problem with not drafting a tight end. And again, unfortunately, I think that Jake Bringstel would be good, but he's hurt. He's got a soft tissue injury, a hamstring injury. And now you've got Jared Wiley, who is hurt again, by the way. So it's not great. And Bringstel was UDFA. They didn't draft a tight end in a good tight end year. So they effectively said, no, we don't want to do this. And they passed on that. They passed on safety, and they're relying on Travis Kelce to be Travis Kelce, to be svelte Travis Kelce, as Andy Reid so eloquently puts it. That's what they're relying on. So right now, it doesn't feel like the Chiefs have a very good futuristic plan of what they want to do at safety and tight end. But again, I'm still high on Jake Bringstel, but we have yet to see anything on the field because he's been hurt. So he might be IR'd the whole year, which would not shock me because it's Andy Reid.
Yeah. I'm intrigued as well, but if you just can't see it, you just can't see it. I was not ready for your vocabulary choice there on that one. Sorry, I was not making fun of your opinion. You just caught me off guard. Thanks, Girk. Appreciate you. Bradley, nice to see you. When it comes to Jawaan Taylor, I don't care if he's making $27 million. I want the best 5 O-line on the field, and I think Jaden Moore should be the right tackle. Well, I haven't seen enough to tell you whether I agree with you or not, because I've seen 4 reps of Moore in any kind of one-on-ones, and I haven't seen any of Jawaan. But I will say this. Jawaan is a known quantity of this coaching staff. Unless Jalen Moore is knocking your socks off, they're going to go with what they know and trust. And he's one of the older guys in the room. They want vets out there if they can have them. I truly feel like you're absolutely right, Bradley. You're just a year ahead of time. I think this is going to be a 2026 Jalen Moore is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that was kind of the plan. But in the plan for me, it was he was starting at left tackle. Right. I didn't expect Josh Simmons to be already up and moving around and winning left tackle. So that's what you see. What you get. And I'm still very much of the opinion that if Jawaan Taylor still struggles with penalties, then I say you got to play Jalen Moore, especially if it continues in the red zone. If it continues in the red zone, they have to get him off the field. He's costing them points, regardless of the injury or not. He was costing them points, and I know that mentally injuries plague not just the timing, what you're doing, all of that stuff. So he gets a pass for last year. This is now about this year. It's not about now. If you coming out, you're not fully 100%, and you're putting your team at a disadvantage because you're still doing the same nonsense you were doing last year, something has to change. You can't just keep putting the same guy out there and expecting something to change. We all know what that is. It's the definition of insanity. Okay? That's what it is.
The good thing is, unlike last year, there is an option. Correct. You're not talking about putting Wanye in. I think it's hilarious that somebody still lists him as tackle. I don't think that's his future. I'm not sure that he makes this roster. Right now, he's not in my top 8. We'll see how far and how deep they go. Thank you, Bradley. Girk, thank you again, buddy. Can still fill in for a tight end in limited depth. What do you think? You know how I feel.
As much as I would love to see that, absolutely not. He, at best, is a H-back. Like, that's it.
Exactly. Yes. I feel he could be an H-back very, very easily.
Yeah.
I am one that would roll out 11 fullbacks and be perfectly comfortable going to war. That's fine. But yeah. My guy is FB1. I just don't know if that means a roster spot or not.
Yeah, right. We don't know, especially if they want to keep 7, right?
Yeah. I mean, it may come down to that. He may be, with punter, kicker, holder, he may be player number 50 right now. I don't know.
We don't know.
Because you got to keep those. You really should just have
You
one kicker type. We don't need a punter and a kicker anymore.
We don't need 2 of them. Bucker can do it. We don't need it.
Yeah, right? Jason, what do you think the Chiefs record is going to be this season? This is like my first live for a long time, and I love RGR. Well, welcome back and glad that you're here.
Appreciate
Season's about to get going. If you weren't with us before, Dan has them at 12-5. I have them at 13-4. We might flip on that 6 times before the next couple of weeks. I got to see the team in at least a couple of preseason games before I'm going to feel confident. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you, Jason. Dirty, nice to see you. 44 months, not quite 50, but you're a half a year behind and you're going to make it up, Dirty. I appreciate you. What's our weakest position this year? And I want you to go first so I don't just talk over every topic.
I still think it's safety. It's their least talented position for sure. You have Jaden Hicks, and they're not much there. At least for defensive tackle, I think there's some talent there. I think that there really is with Omar Norman Lott, and Jerry Tillery is still a good 3-tech pass rusher. Again, we'll see more from defensive tackles. I'm hoping Lazard is it Cozart or is it Lizard? Lazard,
I believe.
Penn State. I believe
Lazard
from Penn
the
State.
receiver, right?
Yeah. No, it's Lizzard. I think it's
Lizard.
Lizard. I don't know. The defense tackle of UDFA out of Penn State is a big athlete kind of guy. Maybe we'll see him in the preseason. I think that there's real talent there, but safety is just it's legitimately just Jaden Hicks in terms of talent, and they have a bunch of just kind of fine players, which is not a good thing to be in. It's not a good place.
I'll tell you my alarm bells, and nobody's going to want to hear this. And I think this position that we just talked about could also be something that they have to go look for at cut downs or before, or even consider trading for. If this is really the way that it's going to go, if you have an injury to either Noah Gray or Travis Kelce, this is the weakest position on this roster.
Yeah.
And kudos to Tanyan yet again, but that is not enough firepower for this position, especially in an Andy Reid offense where he wants to use 2 a lot and wants to get back to using 3.
Yeah.
So I think that this could be something that they go acquire a tight end around cut down.
They might have to, especially if you have Wiley and Brenningstool with injuries. Like they need a receiver. They need a receiver, like somebody to actually bring out there in 13 personnels and then be able to stretch the field vertically. So I think you might be right.
It is what it is. This one is not for me. This is all for you. I just wanted to be clear. So,
I'm very aware.
But she's here for me.
I love you too, babe.
Can't remember who that was actually directed to, but I'm going to take credit for that one. So
I think it was directed towards Drunken German. Believe.
Okay, as we see, does Royals fill most of the snaps just by Rice in the slot or Hollywood on the outside? I think it'll be a mixture. I think the confidence is going to be in Hollywood and Xavier to take up some of that slack. I think you'll see an uptick for Royals. I would say maybe 30%. You're going to see an uptick for Juju. I think they're very happy with Juju. I think Juju's happy to lead. And I think you're going to see either Nico or Taekwon get some run early. And I think that's great for both of them.
Yeah, I think Taekwon would be good in this offense. I really do. And right now, specifically, because he's learned kind of what not to do.
Hey, no offense, Drake, but when you play in New England and you're a receiver, I don't know what else to tell you. Rosifus, thank you, buddy. Are you concerned about Nico's fumble rate on kicks and punts? I am. It's definitely something to keep an eye on, but I wouldn't say that I'm concerned. I think if you saw his presser the other day, he's aware of it, and I know he's been working on it. And Dave Tobe says that he is clearly the best option on this team. So whether it happens again or not, I don't know, but I do think that they're putting their best foot forward with Nico in that role.
Yeah, I think so. And what you have to remember is that sometimes they're fluky, right? And I think that we haven't really heard much about Dave Tobe saying anything specifically regarding. They basically said that he's their punt returner. They
Yeah.
basically already put it in stone. Like they're not worried about it.
Yeah, it's pretty much over. Thank you, Rosivas. Thank you, Jackson. Going to camp tomorrow. Who should I pay special attention to? Number 5'5". Omar Lott seems to be starting to figure it out. I'm hearing that his run defense is improving day by day, and he is definitely getting through those backup linemen at this point.
I don't want to say I told you so, guys, but I told you so. Well, I did. You guys can go check out
Say,
the
I
video.
told you so. You
I told you
should.
so. Like I did. Like it was just like it's all there. He could be a legitimate, complete guy if he figures it all out. Go watch Josh Simmons bust somebody up. He's already done it twice. Just go watch him be, and that guy looks like a tight end, by the way. Maybe he'll play a little bit of tight end for the Chiefs this year.
Ooh, tackle eligible. I like it. Let's go.
Just saying.
Oh, your sixth offensive lineman can line up a tackle and bump your other offensive lineman out. Oh, I like
Yeah,
this
you can.
concept. See, we can run behind that stuff too. I'm
Great
ready to
athlete
go.
too.
Holy hell, it's on. There's a couple of ideas for you, Jackson. Have a great time at camp. Stay cool and hydrated. Jonathan, position group you are most worried about depth outside of QB and left tackle. We talked about a little bit DT, a little bit corner or safety, a little bit tight end. Anything else bothering you right now?
I mean, it's still safety. Like that's pretty much it. Like that's the big thing we've been talking about all night is the safety depth isn't really there. So that worries me and still defensive tackle to an extent.
Linebacker for me.
Yeah.
If Trank, it's a back, and if Trank isn't ready to go, the rookie's playing a lot, and I'm okay with that part. He'll take his lumps, but I think he'll be okay. If there's any injury there, you guys remember that great play everybody lost their minds about on X when Isaiah Pacheco caught a 50-yarder? Well, guess who he caught it on? Jack Cochran. That's
Yeah.
your next guy up. You don't want that. That's where I'm concerned.
We've seen that. We've seen that before.
Right. Oh, Jayok 226, nice to see you. Is there any way to watch preseason out of market? I live in Dallas area now, but we moved during the season, so I didn't have to deal with it. Yes, you can go get the what do you call it, Dan? NFL Pro.
Yeah,
you can watch out of market games on that streaming. Not
you
I
can
don't
do
know
that.
it's way over the airwaves. But.
No, but the Sunday Ticket is on YouTube now, YouTube TV, and I don't know if you're a veteran or not, but if you are, you can get it discounted. If not, it's a $450 investment. So there's that.
Yeah, it makes it hard for people to watch these days. That's freaking ridiculous. Okay, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Bradley, I do like Kingsley being a left guard because he fits right in perfectly in any way. Gives us more athleticism, and I think you're right. It raises the floor of the athleticism. Creed is creepily athletic for what he shows.
Correct. He's
and
more like
our
short
new,
area. He's like short
yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's not a marathoner. That's all right. In Juwan's decent for what I've seen of film for the Niners. I think Moore is decent, but definitely the athleticism is center left, and the power is going to be center right. So
agreed.
I'm comfortable with that. It's a little predictable, but
I mean,
you can
I would
survive.
say on average, center left is going to be better with power too.
You
Trey
think
is
so?
powerful,
Okay.
but Juwan's not.
Yeah,
Juwan's not a power player. But I think that
true.
Kingsley could be more power. And I know Josh Simmons is. I know it is.
Than Trey, you mean? Or just more
No,
than Juwan?
like collectively, if those two
Okay.
together from center to left tackle is
Mhm.
can generate more power than center to right because Juwan doesn't really offer a ton there.
Okay, fair enough. I will also say this: kudos to Trey Smith in the midst of all this contract BS.
Yeah,
I thought he came in looking really good and in shape, and he looks lighter.
yeah,
I
that's
hope that
great.
translates to quicker. I haven't seen enough.
Heat.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that we said before he was drafted is still the thing because that's the way
Yeah.
this works in this league, folks. Should we be concerned at all that we haven't heard FAU much in camp?
Yep, absolutely. You should be concerned. It's a problem. And again, you guys know how I feel about it. I've talked about it a lot. And if you don't see him out there for an entire game in the preseason, we've got some real problems. And if he's not getting any run with Charles Omenihu in not doing much of anything, you have a problem. But they brought this upon themselves.
This is what I call from the top rope moment. When Jeremy shows up and says, "Oh, by the way, FLDB, I got 5 months on you." Yeah, coming in for real. I'm
Let's
glad you made
go.
it to another live, Jeremy. Nice to see you. Thank you for your 55 months in our
Hell yeah.
members
Thank you.
being with you. You're going to get a rant here pretty soon, folks, after the first preseason game, at least from me. I'm not trying to steal your moniker there, but you might have one as well. I don't know.
We'll figure some things out, guys. Obviously, with the
Yeah.
move, I'm still in the in-laws' house. If you can't tell, it looks a little bit different than it usually does. So we're working through some things.
But we'll keep it up, and I'm going to try this year to have some specific member content. Everybody seems to love the vlogs, so if you guys like them, I'm going to keep doing that, and then maybe I'll do something a little bit more just for the members as well. So cheers to you, Jeremy, one of our longest
Appreciate you.
standing members, and very much appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Bradley, why is Brett Veach always a step ahead of the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens? What comes to drafting good players, in my opinion? I think it's a combination, and you could say that the Baltimore Ravens are just as good. They choose different styles of players.
Mhm.
The Bills have a tendency to want some of the players the Chiefs do, and
Yeah.
they don't always get them. And I think Brandon Beane gets a little more stuck in his desires. I thought Kyler Elam was overdrafted at the time, and I think it's really proven out that they really wanted Trent McDuffie, and then with their next best because it was there. And I think that was a mistake. I think it's maintaining calm for Brett Veach and not getting too caught up emotionally, it seems like.
I mean, he made that mistake already with the whole Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman thing. He did that already, so he learned that problem when you are in a panic and you don't know what to do. And the Bills did it with Kyrie Elam because he was not a scheme fit in the slightest. Look what he's doing with the Dallas Cowboys camp right now. He's playing more man coverage. He looks way better than he does playing zone. And it's a weird thing how when you scout players, you know what their strengths are, but you can also understand that a player isn't very good at man or at zone coverage, but he's still higher on your board. And by your brain discombobulating because the Chiefs went and got Trent McDuffie. Oh, that guy's there. Let's draft him. But then, oh, wait, he doesn't fit our defense at all. And he doesn't.
Right? Yeah. There's a difference between a grade and a grade fit because too many teams, I don't feel, do a good enough job disassociating them. I know it's you gentlemen disagree with me, but I think Brandon George makes the 53. Thoughts? I think he's got an uphill battle. He's got to beat out, in particular, the guy that I mentioned before, Jack Cochran. I like his attitude, though. I like his moxie. I think if you're wrong, I like him on the practice squad.
Brandon George might be a better linebacker than Jack Cochran is. Yeah, he's not a better special teams player, though. He's not.
And if you're LB5, that's your job.
And if you are already on the payroll for a good friend, it's not going to be easy to move him off that payroll. All right? It's not. Tobe gets his guys.
I actually heard somebody tell me the other day that they think Cooper's playing with George, and as a tandem, they're both playing pretty well, and they might continue to thrive. Let's see if they do that, Doug, and maybe that changes something.
Yeah,
no, I'm not going to say that because I don't need to run a guy down. Jack Cocker's never been my favorite guy, but he's played teams well, and you need special teams players. That's just the truth. Thank you, though, Doug. Appreciate you. Nice to see you. Lonnie, nice to see you. What's the over-under on the excitement of this squad's season? The over is that I don't know. I might buy a new guitar. I don't know.
Are we talking about like a number system here, Lonnie? Like we have to get like on a percentage, like how excited are we from 0 to 100? If that's what we're setting the over under at, because I think we're still at like 85, 90, to be very honest with you. If you're under 90% excited about this team, because you never should be, in my opinion, when you go to 3 straight Super Bowls and Patrick Mahomes goes to a Super Bowl pretty much every single year, I mean, you got some problems.
It's all he does. I
saw a stat today that Patrick Mahomes gets to the Super Bowl at a higher percentage than any quarterback in NFL history in the Super Bowl of completing a pass.
Oh, I like that one. Holy hell.
So if you guys weren't excited about it, you should be excited about it now because he is more likely to go to a Super Bowl than a quarterback is to complete a pass.
That's awesome. I am so stealing that. And I will say, I'm not quite as hype as Dan, but I'm right there. Thanks, Lonnie. FLDB, Dan, I agree with your post about the sideline captain. They're awful. Are they
Terrible.
anything at all? I mean, do
They're
they even
awful.
have a logo on them?
It's just just a red hat with a patch, a Chiefs like rectangular patch. It's
Huh.
awful. It is the worst thing they have ever made, and it's lazy, it's disgusting, and it shows you that they don't care about the fans. And guess what? They're still $40. So if you want a
Oof.
plain ass red hat, just go to the store and buy one.
Yeah, why not? I'll get you guys one. It'll just have a little RGR on the back. I'll be great. Addicted to capping. Thanks, buddy. I hate to be this guy. Who is someone you're hoping declares for the draft next year that you want for the Chiefs in the draft? Oof. Dan's got more of these right now than I do, but I do have a couple. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Kenyon Sadiq, I believe, tight end, Oregon. He just was dropped on Bruce Feldman's freaks list. He is a legitimate freak. Again, this is a guy you would draft on day 1, day 2. I believe he's going to have a fantastic year at Oregon. He's shown a lot of improvement as a blocker too. So a guy who physically can get the job done. He has the mentality and wants to be that kind of player based on what I saw. So he's somebody to look at. Remember, I have DBs and tight ends. So the guys that I'm looking at are safeties, corners, and tight ends. I don't have a huge wealth of knowledge about everybody else yet, but we have our very first meeting tomorrow to cover our top 50, I believe, for Bleacher
Nice.
Report. So we'll have that tomorrow.
And you'll be able to find that work on Bleacher Report along with some very big names. Kudos, Daniel. Well done.
Thank you.
Philip, you guys are awesome. Well, thanks. Do you think that Mitchell has a chance to make it, or for what I've seen, he's pretty good? He's RB3 as far as I understand. Do you know
Yeah.
anything different?
That's why I've seen it. He's healthy. And again, I made a caveat earlier in this offseason. He stays healthy, he's going to make the roster. Like, if he doesn't, okay, well, then that's a different story. But he's been healthy. He's been explosive. He's been everything your RB3 should be. But I still think he's going to get pushed by Brashard Smith because of the versatility that he possesses.
Yeah, and that's completely fair. But for everybody who's excited about Rashard Smith, of which I am one of them, just remember, Elijah Mitchell's playing in front of him right now.
Correct.
He is a rookie. He's way more upside, but yeah, that's the way it is right now. Thank you, Philip. Appreciate you bringing it up. Thank you, Addicted, as well. Is there a way for the UDFA from Florida, Badger, to make the 53? No.
He would had to have shown more than he's shown now, and the fact that we've mentioned Brownlee as well as Thornton and Remigio all at the end there's just no shot.
Yeah, that is not ridiculous, but it is so far-fetched. Like, it would be hard to see. He would have to take an injury and something else. But I do believe that they like him, and I do believe they will invest in him coming back to the practice squad. And I kind of feel, unless something like really clicks in the next 2 weeks, I think they'll have that opportunity. I don't feel like he's going to get poached or anything.
No, I don't think so either. Again, he has not been lighting it up in camp. So those kind of guys you can usually sneak back to your practice squad.
Agreed. Doug, is Brashard Smith, so to speak, a running back or a wide receiver or both? Thoughts? I think he is both. I think he is the opposite of Tyreek Hill. He is a better wide receiver than he is a running back right now, but he's listed as a running back, and they're going to try to make him a running back.
Yeah, I think he showed a lot of feel. Again, he played running back in high school, made the transition to wide receiver, and then went back to playing running back, and the feel is still there. Just trying to figure that out, right? Trying to parse through what he can do. The fact that he can do everything like that shows you what the Chiefs want to be able to do with him. But that's why when I was talking on Wednesday about his ability to play as a wide receiver, look for more pony personnel. Like, he's going to be able to be on the field with Isaiah Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell, and Kareem Hunt. So that's just something to look for, especially if you're looking for someone to fill in more for wide receiver snaps from the slot when Rashee Rice is out and you have an injury. Look for Brashard Smith to get some more of those snaps too.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I miss Cody's, Dan, check your DMs.
Oh, I already saw it, Cody.
Okay, rock.
I appreciate it.
Can Thornton be the Justin Watson role? Absolutely. I think that he can do that. And if things click together and he has more opportunity, I think he can be quite a bit more, to tell you the truth.
I think so too. And he can do more from a vertical standpoint. Again, he's got better ball skills. He can run. He can actually run by guys vertically. Justin Watson ran a very good corner route. He didn't run anything else very well. He just kind of knew where he had to be on the field, but he ran a very good corner route. I think that there's a little bit more nuance with Thornton. There's a little bit more ability to get down the field in vertical aspects. So just trying to parse that out. So he can be better than Justin Watson in that role, I think.
I feel like Thornton has a little bit better throttle as well.
It's
just
quicker. Yeah, he gets up to speed faster, and he can kind of manipulate those speeds too.
Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate you. Sammy Joe, nice to see you. Our biggest needs to address in the 2026 draft. Thank you for the support. I think I know yours, but tell me.
You think you do, huh? Well, considering the Chiefs are going to be losing 3 defensive ends, in my opinion, it's going to be edge. Number one on the with a bullet is going to be edge. FAU probably not coming back. Mike Dana probably should be coming back. Charles Omenihu will not be coming back. We're looking at Ashton Gelati and George Karlaftis. Hello, edge in the first round.
Yeah, it's going to be right up there. I think if there is a center field safety, you would have to consider it, but it's all going to depend on the grades. The O-line, I don't want to jinx it. The O-line looks like it's in pretty decent shape. You might take a top 100, but a third round pick as your next swing tackle, possibly to grow into. See what Ethan Driscoll does, that kind of thing. But those are some of them. But right now, unless one of Wiley or Brenningstool works out, that might be the biggest need on offense.
Yeah.
You're
not wrong. You're not
wrong.
I
save these last because I just, it's good to dream. I mean, Jerry, Micah on this team is something that I wouldn't mind seeing, but he's not a Steve Spagnuolo fit.
Nope.
He does not have the size and power.
Micah Parsons is the only guy that he would make an exception for, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he's the only guy. He's the only
guy. I think it would be cool, but it is. I mean, you would have to trade someone with a sizable salary to do that. If all of you that are conspiring to trade Jawan Taylor, if you could do that, you might be able to get away with it. That's
and considering the injury to their left tackle, maybe you could work something out.
It's a long shot, but Crimson had something similar. I realize it's a fever dream. You're absolutely right. But any chance that we get him, if Jerry trades him, it will be to an AFC team. And that's a very good point, Crimson. Jerry's not going to trade him in the NFC. Jerry ain't going to trade him at all, though. I'm just going to tell you. It's going to play for the star or nothing.
I saw something. I don't remember what it was, but it was an extremely accurate representation of what he is. I don't care what you're talking about me as long as you're talking about me. That's what Jerry Jones is. He wants everybody to talk about him, and he doesn't care what you're saying. Guess what? You're talking about me. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all he's looking for. And the last one, just because we're talking fun, Scary Terry, too much to ask for. I don't think so, but he comes with trade value, and you have to give him a contract. And honestly, Dan, where does he run your favorite routes from? Where do you think he's best fit in the Chiefs offense?
As the X.
Yeah.
As your
what are you going to do? So who are you bumping out of there? Right.
Nobody. You guys, sorry. Scary Terry, 3 years ago, bring him on. Bring on, but he's going to be turning 30. He wants $30 million a year. And the reason he wants a trade is because the Broncos said, hey, I see you guys are trying to get Scary Terry signed. So we are going to go ahead and give our X receiver just enough underneath what he's asking for that it screws him out of the money that you were going to give him. So you could say, oh, by the way, Courtland Sutton got this much. We're not giving you what you want. You will get this and you will be happy.
Owen, one just came in from Sticks. Nice to see you. Who's the biggest threat in the West this year? We might agree. I'm not sure. What do you got?
The Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are your big. They were last year too. It wasn't the Chargers. It wasn't the Raiders. It was the Broncos.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because people are telling me, I think that General Jeremiah, I guess, said it. People have been telling me all week, well, he says the West is an open race. Bull.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Yeah, that's his job. He wants you to come back and listen to his podcast. I don't blame him. I think it was kind of brilliant. But bull.
Everyone's going to say, oh, yeah, it's wide open this year. The Chiefs, this is the worst team they've had in years. If you guys actually want to know what it looks like when they have the worst team, it was technically last year. Last year was the worst team Patrick Mahomes has ever had. And by definition, the worst offensive line he's ever had. And guess what? It ended in a Super Bowl appearance. So
it's all relative, people. That's a great point. Chiefs fan, if you guys would hit the like button, we would appreciate that. If you would just come back next Monday, that would be great.
Yes.
I'm going to give you something tomorrow. Dan's going to give you something later in the week. Gary's going to give you something more and more and more and more. And we got a lot going. And we got a Saturday ball game. So let's get ready. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely,
Andy,
guys.
probably practice squad. Just wanted to say that.
Oh, I hope so. I hope he makes the roster. I really do. If we didn't get you guys' questions, please put them in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter, at me, just talk to me, DM, just whatever you guys got, because this has probably been one of our most active live streams on a Monday, because guess what? Saturday is a preseason game. So as we get more into it, we're going to get better at getting in the ideas and talking about what everyone's asking for. But at the end of the day, if you guys want, just don't forget, we have different ways to answer questions. And every super chat, every single stream will get an answer. So if you desperately need it answered, it will be in the form of a super chat. Promise.
Absolutely. And let me know in the comments, if you guys are watching this especially late, what you think of all the shorts. We've been trying to throw out our little clips a little bit more, so you guys get some bite-sized stuff. Let me know if you like them. A lot of folks have been asking for them, so I'm trying to kick them out. Callie, nice to see you. You got a way to make an entrance just as I end the stream, buddy. Good to see you, and hopefully we'll run into you this year, pal. Take care, Dan. Thank you, and we'll see you next time there, Zeus.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.